Welcome at Vienna Collectors Club. My name is Angela Zach-Buchmayer. I'm the curator of this exhibition together with Christiane Peschek. In the exhibition Hypersensitive, we are presenting works from Christiane's current and still ongoing series of the same name, along with this beautiful publication of Christiane. This exhibition reflects our emotion triggered by social media. Through multisensory installation, Christiane Peschek invites visitors to explore this intimate art space, and the exhibition unfolds in 3 different phases and stages of privacy. Christiane, would you tell us more about the concept behind this exhibition?
So, in the last year, I was confronted with a diagnosis of a terminal illness, which led my private life, but also the way how I work, into the whole cosmos of healing. It's currently a very dominant bubble that with a lot of wellness and well-being practitioners popping up, and a lot of offers that also already start influencing institutions. That maybe some of you already seen, yoga classes that are happening in museums, or breathwork sessions that are part of museum shows. But I was not only in my research interested in how this healing bubble or well-being practices start to enter the artistic immersive world, but also it was affecting me personally with my diagnosis. And as I dive deep into different healing practices, I figured out that there is also a huge potential for manipulation, and there is not just really trustworthy practitioners out there, but also a lot of bullshit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In my work, I often deal with the entanglement of human and technology. So I was more looking into online healing practices, and obviously in the last 2 years, ChatGPT became a very dominant tool to use. And then also I found out that a lot of my friends started using ChatGPT instead of seeing their therapists, and also understanding that there is also a huge manipulative aspect to it, because a lot of the affirmations and suggestions that ChatGPT is offering are not necessarily helping or supporting us in a positive way. So inspired by all of this input and facts, and also tools that I used myself, then I got this invitation from Anna and Angela to do an exhibition here, which is a very intimate and small space. So that initially was a flat, a private home. I decided to use a lot of this content that often obviously deal a lot with my private situation, but also how we deal with social media and technology in general, and how it reflects on our private life. And I thought that is actually a perfect environment to do a show like that. That is not the classical white cube space. And the show is divided into 3 steps of intimacy, as I already mentioned before in the little tour. So you enter and you have this more general, the room where you put on your mask, or you take off your mask when you come home, with this little artwork that is on the wall that supports this perfect smile that you have to put on, and in order to perform the best version of yourself. And then when you enter the living room, or living and sleeping room, that deals with also the absence of gravity, the absence of grounding in this little altar that has a floating pillow that has, now it's turned off, but it has a sound installation, so it's a whispering ASMR voice that whispers you some affirmations that were designed together with ChatGPT, that helps you and like support your like deep relaxation, support your healing process. But a lot of these messages are very concerning if you listen closely to them. And also, like, it's the only place that invites you to relax, but at the same time, this floating pillow is not able to carry your weight. So it's also questioning if all of these digital offerings that we are so falling for are able to support, like, to really support us and to really have the capacity of holding us. Sorry. And then in the works itself, it's like, because I always work with myself and with my own body material, so it's more like a reflection on like how this like different ways of seeing myself, like my physical self, but then also my digital reflections, lead to like a very split perspective on myself. And then also dealing with AI generating, like image generators that always have the problem still to depict the human body in the right way. So if you look closer, like the hands on the pictures have either too many or too less fingers, because this is still a problem of the models to really get the hand situation right. But for me, it was also a beautiful metaphor, like, to question like which, like with whom do we so desperately want to get connected to, and does that offering for connection and touch that the other side of the screen offers us is really able to replace through physical human interconnection. That is like a very short, yeah. And then also like the affirmations from the sound installation. Then later, I transcribed it in this little book because I thought it's also a pity if it's just possible to experience through the installation. So you have this little pocket Bible that combines in 42 sessions, in 42 little affirmation sessions with ChatGPT. In dialogue with some memes and some notes from my diary.
And we also use the bathroom as the most intimate space also?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I forgot the bathroom. Yeah, so in the bathroom, it's another topic that is also very important. It deals with this phenomena of ghosting and the ghosting culture, and the ghost is also a figure that I'm very interested in, and I research a lot in this direction. Also, like one of my next projects will be a lot like basically about ghosts. But in this exhibition, it more focuses on the ghosting aspect, so like the sudden absence of a person, like that someone decides to cut you off and you have no possibility to reach out to that person or connect with the person again. And usually for my shows, I create this, I always forget this name, necklaces, with some words that are like resonating with the show. But in the bathroom, you have like one that says ghost, but it's that big, so you cannot even wear it anymore. So it also it's about this heaviness if someone is suddenly cuts you off and you become that ghost, but like the definition of that ghost is too heavy for you to carry it. So that's why it's hanging on the wall, because the bathroom is usually the place that is the most private one. But also, it's interesting fact is that like most of the heart attacks, for example, happen in toilets and bathrooms, because that is usually the place where people like go when they like as soon as they're outside, like they can still like perform. But also like if you already feel like there's like a sensation, and that's the place where you try to like hide yourself, and that's when all the masks and all the tension can fall off. So that's why I decided to use that place as really as this place where you cannot hold all this tension anymore. You really have to like hang it back. And the bathtub, if some of you already seen, is filled with salt. Salt is a material that I use quite often in my work, and it's a reference to these trends of like Epsom salt bath that you do for full moon rituals to cleanse your body. But in that case, the concentration is so high that it's already missing the water. So it's just like this overuse of like, okay, this is still like supporting my healing, but like I so desperately wanna heal that it turns into the opposite. So now theoretically, if you lie your physical body in the salt, it also preserves the flesh. So it's also questioning like how and if we should preserve parts of like humankind in an era of AI where it's already there's so many models that already imitate and replace us. So it's like a sweet soft metaphor or reference to the end of the Anthropocene.
I would say your exhibition here is addressing many questions of the changes through AI, and you using AI, you're observing these changes for many years. How did your interest start in this topic, and which tools are you using? And yeah, would you like to tell us something about this?
My interest, it was more a fear, and that's how I often work. Like I'm scared of something, and in order for me to understand it, I started working with it. And I think it was the same with technology per se. I mean, it now ended like it got like a crazy, got a really crazy journey to it. But the beginning of it was more like based on curiosity, on like playfulness, and like to see where how I can make sense for myself with a technology that actually I don't understand, and I also don't want to understand. And I think it gets harder and harder to really understand how algorithms work. Yeah, it's definitely like driven from fear to curiosity. And I don't use one particular program or one particular technique. It's more like I come up with an idea and I find the right people that help me work on it. Yeah. I don't know if that really answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us an idea, I think. But for one thing, I think you work with the self-portraits now for many years, and you use this optimize filter until it's getting sort of ugly, or there are these sort of like the double iris here, which is sort of course, not the real depiction anymore of yourself, but it's sort of, you over-exaggerate it until it gets an error pictured of you. So what was your interest in this, to try this out, and also what is also the picture you had in mind behind? You know, like I think you're also referring to this picture of how we women are seen and want to be seen, and and all the efforts we are doing, or is this something also you're working with in this series?
Yeah, I mean, the main interest I had at the beginning was, because I have a background in advertisement and photography, so I was working as a fashion photographer for some years, and like one of the main jobs of like if you work in the fashion industry is to optimize bodies, right? So like back in the days, like big part of my work was like sitting in front of Photoshop and optimizing female bodies. Then like when I left fashion world, I decided to keep on working with that tool, but in a more excessive way. So the only thing that I did was like using the same tools, like a retouch tool, or like the healing brush. I really like the English names for this tool, to optimize the images. And then at the same time, like around the same time, it was like when like the first filters appeared on smartphones, so you could optimize yourself like in really easy ways. It was just like a few touches, and you got rid of your wrinkles, and you could like get like this more juicy lips. And so what I started doing is like using these filters several hundred of times on the same picture to show this obsession that we have with beauty. And that's like basically like, for example, the thing with the double irises. I mean, these works here are super soft. There are other works that have like big like ways, crazy grimaces, and that's
like big lips,
exactly, or like eyes disappear, and these are actually glitches. So it's like when like these filters or the image breaks, but for me it's like failed digital surgery, but it's also like a good comment to this fetishization of the face and the youth that we are currently living in. Yeah. So that was the path that I went. Yeah.
And how would you see your role as an artist towards AI? Are you an observer? Are you a critic or a co-creator also in this way?
Right. I don't know. And I think it's not so easy to answer this, because I think what currently happens with AI image generation is like we are less the creator but more the prompter. So it's a lot about like how to be creative with the way you prompt, and that's quite interesting for like, especially for visual artists, how like it transitions from visual aesthetics back to words, and I also understood for myself that I'm missing so many words to describe what I want to create. So for me, it's more like I would say, if I have to choose one, it's more like a researcher than a creator or an observer. Or I'm not a critic.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is your, because you already mentioned that for you like this phenomena like ghosting, or also to compare each other with the outer world, which is more beautiful. You know, we always, all these changes through social media. How would you describe these effects now? Because you said already you did a research also on this and wanted to talk with people about it. And so could you tell us some of your insights, what your research brought, or your personal experience using these tools or being for many hours on social media? What experience can you share with us?
I don't know. It's my personal experience. I don't want to share. But what I was very interested in, and that's really pity that Sibyl is not here today, because, for example, in the the effects that ghosting have on our brain, for example, is it addresses directly to the pain center of the brain. So in fact, it really it creates the same effect as physical pain, which I think is very interesting, because like a lot of people just say like, oh well, then she's just not replying, doesn't matter, you get over it. But it's really like physically measurable and experienceable pain. That is something that I would really like to dig a bit deeper in my work in general, because I have to obviously deal a lot through my illness with pain, and it's beautiful that beautiful and dramatic, of course. But for me, it's, in my research, it's beautiful to understand that something so ephemeral like a ghost can still have such a physical effect. So yeah, that is something that I will definitely dig deeper. For myself, I just went for a week into a Zen retreat, like a silent meditation, where you had to hand over your phone and be completely disconnected. And my screen time is around 10 hours per day. Oh, wow. So that was a very profound experience. I had this very crazy sensation on the second night. So you basically sit for 10 hours per day, 10 to 12 hours meditating, and then you go to sleep at 9 in the evening, and I'm more like a night owl, so that was also quite new for me. And then before I fell asleep, I closed my eyes and I caught myself scrolling through my Instagram feed. This is very personal.